We just have a great group of people here with us today to talk about why the governor's budget that is proposing an additional $250 million per year dedicated to transit for our region, really is a good investment in this community, will help us grow jobs, will help us stimulate the economy. For too long, our transit system has not had the type of funding that we need to grow the system. So this $250 million a year will allow us to grow transit, it'll allow us to build out these light rail transit ways that we're working on, as well as our BRT corridors. And it really will connect this region as a leader to help people get to work, because you can't apply for a job if you can't get there. So I think the mayors are well positioned to talk about why an investment in transit is good for the future of the region and this economy. And I'm just going to bring them right up and say, first we're going to start with Mayor Chris Coleman.
It's not just the transit dependent, it is people that are choosing to get out of their cars, choosing to live in communities that have great networks of transportation options, whether those are light rail lines, bus rapid transit, it might be streetcars in the future. People are choosing to come to communities. Businesses are choosing to come to communities because they have options that include first-class transit systems. The governor in his proposal has provided bold leadership. The Met Council and Chair Haag have provided bold leadership. The commissioner, the mayors, the others that have joined me here have been bold leaders. Let us all be bold leaders on this issue. Let us make sure that we are competing against all the other regions in this country that are making huge steps forward on transportation. And when we do so, the Twin Cities region will be second to none in terms of the quality of life, in terms of the ability to attract talent, and the ability to attract jobs. And ultimately, that's what this is all about. Thank you.
Well, the bad news is that regions around the country are investing far more in the kinds of transportation infrastructure that grows jobs. So the good news is we have a governor who's put a bold plan on the table that will allow us to make dramatic and incredibly important investments in the transit infrastructure that grows jobs. We have a great plan on the table. That's the first time I've been able to say that in my time as mayor. That's a really important point, because we have been desperate for leadership from the state capitol to really catch up and hopefully pass other communities that have recognized that you can't grow a region if you're stuck in gridlock. You can grow a region if you invest in the transportation, and especially the transit that moves people throughout the region.
We've done a lot of emphatic work on roads and bridges. It's time for transit now to have a occupying role in this region. When you look at the U.S. economy, 75% of our GDP is produced in the 100 top metropolitan regions. We're one of those regions. We need to have the kind of transit system available that allows us to move people and goods, especially people, in the most effective and efficient way possible, so that goods can move more freely on our roadway system.
Now, I can give you two perfect examples about why this is important, and I'm so thankful to the governor for taking the bold move in proposing this, and I hope that the legislature embraces and adopts it. I've got a colleague, an administrative professional that lives in my city. If she were to drive, she'd have to dedicate 15 hours of her monthly salary just to pay for parking. Transit's important. It has to be there. It has to be a part of what we do in order that we can fill jobs and get people to work. Now, here's another perfect example. A few years ago, we opened a store in West St. Paul. 2 years before that, the identical store, not the identical store, but another store under the same name opened in Inver Grove Heights. When our store opened, I talked to the employees. And I said, what made you apply here? What made you want to work in West St. Paul? One woman that I talked to said it's very simple. The bus comes here, and it doesn't go to the other store. She said, I was spending too much money driving to work every day. Now, this particular store doesn't pay an astronomical wage, so it's an important thing. To keep people working is a very important thing.
Our situation is unique in the metro, that we have a physical barrier of a river, and there are only so many lanes that we can get across the river, and we need to have transit options for our residents, for our commuters, so that we can continue to invest in bridges and roads and those kinds of things, but have options for people and have options for folks to be able to travel across the across the metro and be able to hit from Shakopee, American Boulevard, and Bren Road, and the Southwest LRT, and have options for people to be able to drive and leave those. Have options. People to be able to take the transit and leave those lanes open for business and commerce to take place. And so we are proud and excited as a city to step up as a community embracing transit and working toward a regional transit solution. So.
Our governor, Governor Dayton, has now created a new opportunity. He's provided leadership to say we need to make the next generation of investment in transit. He views it, rightly so, as an essential part of the public infrastructure, the public support for our economy. We haven't had a governor do that in a long, long time. But he has set that course, and that's what this 0.25% sales tax is about. We've been dealing with scarcity in this region for transit for a long, long time. This is going to put our transit system on a footing that's going to allow it to contribute to our economic prosperity in the future. It's that fundamental. It's that fundamental. And that's why we're enthusiastically supporting this and why we need to go forward.